flexible, will leach things out of the bottle? Well, that's phthalates. Well, wait a second. How did a private well that's 300, 400 feet deep or less get phthalates in it? Well, if you ever looked at a private well, one of the things we use to get the pump down the hole and carry the water back up is what? Black coil pipe. Why do we use it? Because it's flexible. We can bring out a roll on the site and roll it right down the well with the pump on it. I did some other work. I found some research that suggested that if there's slime bacteria, iron bacteria, and other bacteria in contact with black coil pipe, it leaches the plasticizers more. So from that data from Luzerne County, in particular, and as we build out, we're seeing 6% of private well owners having water that has phthalates in it. Phthalates in their car, not just present, but 6% above a drinking water standard right now. And it's a carcinogen. Getting back to methane, I actually shouldn't say getting back to methane, but getting to methane. Methane gas, as I'll say, in the Marcellus Shale is not everywhere. It's not commercially viable everywhere. It is not everywhere in the Marcellus Shale, but it is everywhere in our environment. In general, in this region, we have methane gas that ranges from anywhere from just barely detectable or non-detectable to levels that are saturated at the surface. I lit my first private well in 1989, well before the gas people were here. Now, and there are definitely some saline seeps that have methane gas in them. Now, I don't want to anybody use this to say that I'm not saying methane gas migration isn't a problem. It's not a problem. It's not been a problem here. It is absolutely a problem. The industry has been aware of methane gas migration problems since it started. And you can look back on published papers by Schlumberger, etc., that talk about how to do the cement right, how to put centralizers in to create those bonds. But what I want to, as we're going ahead into Susquehanna County, the importance of DIMIC for me is baseline testing is critical. Anecdotal information does not cut it in the court of law. You know, a big problem in DIMIC was the fact that the baseline testing was done did not include methane. If that data was collected, I think things would be a lot easier to know what was prior and what wasn't, and how much change occurred. Also, there's a wonderful file to review in DIMIC. It is in Williamsport. That would be the file review process to go through, look at that file. There's a wonderful report. I think it's the only place to find it from DEP that has all their findings in it and their opinion. But also saying that probably a good percentage of some methane gas issues in DIMIC were natural. I wasn't there to see those. But methane gas migration is a problem. Obviously, it's been a problem because we wouldn't bother changing Pennsylvania oil and gas law and look for adding double casings, etc., to prevent it from happening. Most of the methane gas migration has been gas from a shallower gas formation in the Catskill. That is a formation that we all in this area get our water from. So where that methane gas migrated was likely from a lower portion of the Catskill formation that's near saline water, migrated up along a borehole, or it was a push when that migration occurs. So again, the critical thing for me is baseline testing needs to include that. Other things that's really neat is about 1 to 3% of private wells are actually have saline water. The water isn't fresh. So again, when I think about that package of water, we have fresh water that's really connected to this flow system. You know, it rains, it recharges, works through, goes through the flow system, discharges in a local stream, lake. You know, that's the freshwater flow system. About 1 to 3%, and it varies depending on the data, are actually saline water. Where that's water that's actually seeping up from below the freshwater aquifer. We have saline water, and then we get into connate water or brine water. Connate water and brine water is water that's been trapped in the formation, pretty much hasn't ever moved since it was put in. That saline water is in the middle. All right, it's kind of a blend. There's very little movement occur. A wonderful place if you're staying up here would be to go up to Salt Spring State Park. They have a really nice saline seep that dates back to the 1700s. The reason I mention that is not to say that, again, Marcellus Shale isn't causing problems, but these are wonderful places that we could go and create baselines on and monitor. You know, if we're worried about an activity having effect on the freshwater flow system, what better to monitor than this thing that's in the middle, right? If you're worried about activity down here and concerned about the effect up here, if we have something in the middle that could be that first warning sign, we should be monitoring those. It's a wonderful site. I just went off for that nonprofit organization up there. I just went off and paid to have the baseline test done for them, and I collected that myself. So we have